Hello, my friends. It's Laura Victoria Ward here in Role Play. Today, we're going to work with two things. One is the lymphatic system and also detoxifying your body. So there's a lot of toxins stored in our bodies. And sometimes we think we need to add more when really what we need to do is let go of some stuff. So like our body can't always metabolize things when we're too overstuffed. So we're going to think about letting some stuff out through lymph, through some sort of energetic movement, and also breath. So we're going to do some kind of upregulated breaths and also some downregulating breaths. So upregulation is going to lift me, make me more engaged and active. Downregulation going to calm me down, soothe, settle, rest, and digest. Metabolize. So when we're metabolizing, we need that slow action, right? We need to be, now I can just digest, as opposed to, but we're going to play back and forth with those two things. So you can start to feel them in your own body.
Okay, so here we are, and thinking about the idea, oh, Bonnie popped out. She might have frozen. Thinking about the idea that lymph is built and created, birthed in our bodies. I've been thinking about that difference between the idea of building something or birthing something, right? Like if I'm birthing something, it's a very organic process. If I'm building something, it's a little more mechanical. So lymph is created inside, and they're both creation. It's created in different areas of our body, but it comes back into the blood, and it comes back in up here in this upper quadrant of our subclavicular area on the left and the right. And the left side of our body is doing a lot more work with the lymph system than the right side of our body. So we're going to start with the lymph drainage. And with this idea that we're working with this pressure system so that the lymph can come back up and through, and then it'll join in with the blood, go in around the heart, and then it'll come back out. And the lymph separates as it's out in the body, and it's a detoxifier of our body. So we need to have the toxins moving out so the nutrition can move in. And part of what lymph does, and what that interstitial area, which I just did a thing on the extracellular matrix and the interstitium, that's a place where there's cellular waste, there's dead cells, there's things. It's this place of, we want to have movement, small movement, so it doesn't stagnate. I'm saying a lot of stuff and it's all a little disjointed, but somewhere it all fits together. So however it lands for you, feel into it. And let's start with this lymph flush. So let's actually start with warming up our hands by rubbing them together. Like if we were going to do a Reiki session, this would be the start. We're getting some energy in our hands. And also, if we were going to do like feeling the energy between our hands in sort of a Tai Chi way, right, we would be doing this. So let's invite that in. And then we're going to start with the right hand crossing over to the left up here. And we're going to give that a rub and a circling. As we're doing it, I like to relax my neck and tongue. So we're going to work with this lymph stuff today, but we're also going to work with some upregulating and down-regulating breathing and movement. And so a lot of it's like shaking stuff out, again, releasing stuff, but that can also give you energy. I got rid of some things, now I have more room. Now let that go onto the other side. Same thing. And depending on how you work with the tissue, like I'm kind of pancaking my hand and then moving the whole thing. Like I've got basically 3 fingers sort of grabbing onto the skin and fascia and moving around. I'm not really digging into it. I'm moving the whole area. Like I'm not poking in and digging. I'm kind of just grabbing with my fingers and moving that whole area. Tongue, neck, and throat. Relax and easy. Yeah. And then we're going to take it into the angle of the jaw on both sides. And just let's start with our hands on the same side of our body. And then we're going to cross them in a second and just feel what happens if that changes anything for you. So go ahead, and whenever you're ready, shift it so that you're crossing over one hand to the other side, and just feel That's a little extra brain nervous system work when we cross midline. Maybe it changes the movement for you. It feels more like someone else is touching me when I'm crossing midline. For me. Yeah, like that's that. Let's let that go and shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. So anytime we're shaking out, it can be very activating, but eventually, like, we want to shake out so that we can also calm down, right? If I'm going to present something and I'm feeling nervous, if I go into the shake it all out, I can I've got rid of some of that extra stuff. Before we go further, we're going to do these 2 points right here under your under your clavicle. I think they're K27, but they might be K29. And this is like, I just can't remember right now. Yeah. Oh, look at Bonnie. Ha, open up. Yeah. Let your mouth and jaw, neck, and tongue. That looks really delicious. Ha, let it move. Yeah. Free up your face. And then we're going to just thump thymus. So thymus is also involved in lymph. Yeah, making noise. Tarzaning a little bit, and then take it over to the side so it's a little bit more top of the pec, and give it a little bang into the top of your lungs. And if you add sound, then there's vibration to it. And when we have sound vibration, the tissue is going to get more movement. And I always like to think that there's movement coming from the inside, and then there's movement coming from the outside. And when the two things are working together, it's more than just I'm beating into myself, right? So when I have the inner participation and the outer stuff going on, yeah, and I see there's some good stuff going on. Let's just do a full on free flow around there. I'm just looking at what's happening in the room and going, yeah, that looks like I want to do that too. So I'm going with the whole ribs. We're going to get into that upper armpit area also. So coming in armpit and pec, big lymph node in there, getting one side and then the other. Feeling into what kind of sounds or what kind of mouth face relationship wants to happen. Yeah. And then we're going to come into this place underneath. Here's my belly button. Here's my xiphoid process. Actually, let's just get into the xiphoid process for a second and give it a little side movement. So it might feel kind of weird. It's right there. And I'm just kind of moving, creating some space in there. And I'm going to let that move its way down into the middle spot. And that's where my cisterna chyli is, which is a biggest lymph node in the body. And if that gets blocked, you're going to be having some intestinal shit going on. You're going to be having maybe, who knows, it could also be reproductive stuff. But so we want some freedom in there. And that one's deep in our body. Inviting the spaciousness inside our body, inviting some internal spaciousness. Then we're going to go to groin. And I'm actually going to give it a bang first because I'm seated and I'm actually not going to get up. Normally I would do this standing. You could do it laying down, you could do it standing. And then getting in between my pubic bone and my hip bones with my fingers, giving a little circular movement. Again, neck, tongue, jaw, throat, let it go. And then shake that out too. Shake, shake, shake. Ooh. And we're going to go in behind our knees. So getting behind each knee, you can do one or both, depending on how you are. I'm like total pink fire today. This is upregulation. Just wearing this color, looking like I look, upregulation, right? It's not calm down, everybody. Let's feel into our brown earthy nature. It's pink and loud, right? So just thinking about color as up or down regulation as well. This is very up. I had a massage therapist who was working with me for quite a while, and he was like, Laura, you already have so much energy. You don't need to go running around wearing red and pink. That was about the last time we saw each other. Like, you don't need to tell me how I need to be, honey. Clearly it's threatening you. Anyway, Columbus, I'm not going to say his last name. He was great for a while, and then it just wasn't great anymore. All right, shake it out. And I'm going to take this off because I am now getting a little bit warmer. And I also out pinked myself. It happens. If I wear too much red and pink, I have to have a day of wearing black or something else. Blue, purple, a cool color. Okay, so we're gonna do, I see Bonnie has a physio ball in there, and I'm gonna grab my physio ball. If you don't have one, you can do it without it, but we're gonna do this breath. It's actually a continuum breath called the WHO breath. I'm just gonna grab the ball. If you have a ball, great. No ball, no worries. You can either do this standing up or even like on a cushy couch or a pillow. So this is it's called the WHO breath. It's a continuum breath. And again, we're doing this sort of for upregulation. I think we're going to start kind of up to shake things out and to get stuff out. And then we're going to go down after that. So this is like, I'm just going to show you with my face first, like you're kind of going, and you can bounce around, try not to fall off your ball. But partly what we're doing is we're also using the breath to detox, right? And shaking out to detox. So deep diaphragmatic breathing is going to stimulate lymph, bouncing around, urban rebounding. That was a great class. Actually, I knew the guy who made that up. So we're just getting that whole thing working. The diaphragm is getting this nice bounce. Our pelvic floor, it's all getting this movement. Feel like a monkey. Let it all out. Make some faces. If you get tired, just let yourself calm down. But I'm feeling like I can do this for a while. I'm in my pink today. And let's enliven the kinesphere. So get a little bit into the backspace, get a bit over your head, get around, maybe down. Oh. Let it out. And then we're going to do one more thing. And this is really a face thing that I was one of my voice teachers when I first started studying voice. And I'm not like a great singer. I'm a punk rock singer. I like to scream, blah, blah, blah. But I love to learn these things. So I was studying voice a long time ago. And do you want me to do this? And I couldn't relax my face enough to do that with my lips. So if you can't, the alternate version is so you can roll your tongue. But remember, if it's like, so that was the holding pattern in my face. It took me, months to be able to go. So, yeah. So if you can't do it, don't worry. Do the tongue version. And also, like, the tongue version is a little more internal and more like. You can add some micro movement with that, or that's kind of more external, more like a dog shaking off for me. Might be different for you. So those are some things to play with. How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling pretty upregulated now? I'm like, I'm on fire. Right. So let's start to bring it down. So we're going, now that we've gone up, we've gone crazy. We've freed up some of the shit in our systems. We're going to take it in a little bit and slow down. So, where do I want to go with this? What I want to do is actually start to play with easy fluid movement in your body and extending the exhale. So what are the things that detox our bodies? There's lymphatic, our skin, sweating, but our skin also breathes. We breathe. There's our lungs. So think of letting the breath. We're going to go with the theta breath. And then allowing like the interstitial fluid, the extracellular matrix, and your fascia to dance with your nervous system, to be able to go, what do I need right now? Let's add that too. So here are two possibilities. Well, there's three. no sound, you're not doing anything, or you're doing anything you want to do in your own privacy of your own home. The theta breath, soft hissing exhale, or just a like yum, finding deliciousness and finding fluidity in your body, or inviting it in. Inviting your body with your intention, with your awareness, to start to process any kind of crap. It might be toxic food that you ate, or alcohol, or pot, or whoever. I don't know. Let me just name some things. Or maybe it's like your, work situation, or a relationship, or something that happened to you that just needs to sort of work its way out, not easily held in the system, right? So when we start to free up the system, slow it down, give it the chance to have its own intelligence. Yeah, look at how beautiful that is. I'm really seated here, but this could go in any direction. And if you don't have a ball, don't feel like you need the ball. You could be doing this with the couch, with the floor. Oh, it's been a long time since I opened up over a ball. So, what does it feel like? Or no ball, could be here. So what I'm feeling right now is when I'm doing the it's kind of more radiating outward, but when I'm in the theta, it's kind of more coming in. So one thing we want to start thinking about balancing is our relationship to the inner and the outer. What are we putting out? What are we taking in? Which we could think of even like on the lymphatic level, right? Oh, what am I taking into my body? What am I letting go of? What do I not need anymore? What can be moved through the system? We also have a whole bunch of lymph nodes down the inside of our spine. So if we're getting kind of blocked and locked up, or not moving much and stagnant, we aren't going to be able to twist very easily. So twisting and spiraling with the spine is going to help mobilize that lymphatic that's on the inside of our spine. Yeah, letting yourself listen in and play with movement. Like, oh, what would feel so yummy right now? What would be delicious? Like, is there something that I want to lean into or reach out towards? Is there something delicious? Or is there something where I can just let go of it and go, I feel so much better now. I let go of that thing, that little holding pattern, something that's not serving me. Maybe it's resentment or bitterness. Maybe I can let go of some of that stuff and just be more present and easy in my own body. When we are angry or storing anger or storing that stuff up, we're storing it up inside ourselves. So we might want to let some of that stuff free up. Yeah, somebody's supposed to be picking up a plant off my front porch. Oh, it's gone. They did it. Yeah, add kittens, remove plants. That's been one of the shifting patterns in my household. I'm going to take in some kittens. I need to let go of some plants. I'm looking at Medea holding that ball with her feet and going, oh, maybe it's fun to play with an item. It shifts our perspective, right? Maybe it's fun to have a toy, to have something. If you have a physio ball, excellent. If you don't, consider getting one. Though I have to say, I was teaching in New York City at Mary Abrams' studio at Moving Body Resources, and I had an older woman who was in her 70s, but very childlike, like very alive and full of wonder. And we were doing some bouncing on the ball, and she just popped right off the back and went out to the floor over the back of the ball. And I was like, oh my God, but she was totally fine. Her tissue was so soft and she was so fluid that she didn't get hurt at all and was like fine. I was like, oh my God, I got to tell people, if you're going to bounce around on the ball, stay present with it. Like, don't go crazy until you've felt what it is. Yeah. So letting yourself relate in whatever way feels interesting and good. And maybe you want to upregulate again. You can shake around, do that who breath, the hee ha hoo, or soften and melt. Listening into your system. Yeah. Our capacity to respond to things, the health of our capacity to respond to things is how quickly can we adjust to a situation? Oh, I see. We need to calm down here. We need things to soften and slow, or we need to get going. How fast can I make those shifts in my body to respond to life around me, to respond to what is happening? So yeah, using the idea of upregulation, bringing the energy up, or down regulation, bringing the energy down as tools. And can you feel into yourself when you're in a situation? Is this or with somebody? Oh, some people I get around and I'm very excited, and it's so exciting. Like we're just like, then we have to really consciously go, okay, we need to calm down for a little while if we're spending any amount of time together, because it can be so exciting and fun. Usually when I get with other movement people who have sort of some of the same training as me, it's very exciting. So it can be super upregulating. And it's like, oh my God, we need to actively work to calm ourselves down. What do we need more of? Or what do we just need to balance out? It's in the down regulation that we digest. It's in the down regulation that we heal. But sometimes we have to create space for that. And sometimes it's that excitement, upregulation, shaking things out. Then we can go, oh, okay, now I can come down. So playing back and forth with those ideas, right? And anytime we're doing that shaking, deep diaphragmatic breathing, that's going to be moving lymph. But also, when we're doing this deep internal micro movement exploring, we're also digesting and processing, right? We're letting stuff move through us. Yummy. Yeah, what do we need? Do we need tiny little adjustments, or do we need big, huge movements? Maybe some kind of combination. Yeah. Do we need to play more? Do we need to play less? Do we need to be more fluid? Do we need to be more stable? Now, all of these things we could find just playing with movement and breath. And then when we start to notice, I'm feeling really stable here. If I want to do like stillness, non-dual meditation, I need to find a way to be stable in my body. This is for me, because so much of my practice is really fluid movement. So when I go into that stillness practice, I'm like, whoa, it's going to be very challenging. Can I bring the sense of freedom and lightness into my stable practice? Sometimes, yes. Yeah, so I'm standing. You can be on the floor, rolling around. You could be seated. You could be bouncing on a ball, really letting yourself move in whatever way feels interesting, feels delicious, feels like just what I need right now. And only your body really knows that, right? Or maybe you know it, like, oh, I just need some softness, or oh, I just need some pushing and pulling and punchiness. What do you need? What would be so good? Or maybe you just need like the whole buffet, the variety pack of everything. I'm going to show you some things. And this is like some really Dungeons and Dragons and Laban movement analysis nerdiness. Oh, I'm missing one, but it's here. So what we have here are some crystalline forms, also known as Platonic Solids. There's 5 of them. All of them, their surfaces and their corners are all equal. So each thing, this one's a tetrahedron, the most stable thing. Like if I drop it, let's move that down so you can see me drop it. Oh, you can't. Well, anyway, it's the most stable. It doesn't roll. It's a this pyramid, 4-sided triangle. Most stable thing, not easy to get it to move. Cube, 8-sided, 6 faces. But each angle and each face is all going to be the same. So these are the Platonic solids. Dodecahedron, 12 sides, 5 points on each one. Octahedron, 8-sided with 6 points. So these two things are kind of the opposite. This has 8 points and 6 faces. This has 8 faces and 6 points. This would fit perfectly in there, touching each of the each face with a point. So this is how these things interrelate. This is sacred geometry, and this is all like the Laban work also. This is an icosahedron. This is a 20-sided form. And I have another one right here. Not 20-sided form. A 12 faces. It's got 12 faces. It is a 20, sorry. It is a 20-sided dice. It's got 20 faces and it's got 12 points. Laban theory. So like if we play D&D, this is a 20-sided dice. It's an icosahedron. Now, if I take, I'm just going to show you this really quick because it's fascinating. And this is like when I'm thinking in movement, like I've trained really deeply in understanding these things. And there are scales of movement that go around in these forms. So like, here's the icosahedron. This right here, these 2 points in front, these 2 points in back, if I put this through here, that is the horizontal plane, right? This is, let's turn it this way. These 2 points on top, these 2 points on the bottom, this is the vertical plane. And then these 2 points in front, these 2 points in back, this is the sagittal plane. So like when I'm moving my body in very 3-dimensional ways, I'm moving like, here's the 3 dimensions put together. This up down is the vertical. These 2 points side side is the horizontal. Forward backward is the sagittal. So this is the 3-dimensional shape that has the 3 dimensions moving through it perfectly. This one has the 3 planes moving through it perfectly. And this one, if I move from one corner to the next, it's the most 3-dimensional movement because I'm going to be moving up, forward, and to the side, or back, down, and to the other side. So this is how, like in my training for Laban movement analysis, I've trained to understand space. Then with the continuum work that I've done, and also in movement analysis, there's this idea of shape flow, but there's this idea of fluidity where everything is just free flow and moving. So I'm just throwing that in there as like a way of conceiving movement and space. Because to me, the more layers of conception I have for any idea, the more it's, I don't know, the more it's like, oh, my diamond has lots of sparkles. It's like, oh, there's all these different possibilities with it. So I know that this is role play and we're talking about different things, but like the tetrahedron isn't going to roll very easily. If I drop it, boom, it's going to stop. The icosahedron rolls really easily, right? The 20 sides, boom. The octahedron, not so much. The cube is a little bit better, but it's just how we conceive of space. The dodecahedron, very easy to move also, almost like a little soccer ball. So I'm just naming these things and putting them out there to expand your ideas of what space is. I also teach that on my, I think it has just changed names, but it used to be Inner Outer Space. And now I don't even know what the playlist is, but I have all these classes, all the name of the classes Inner Outer Space is dealing with that material. So if you want to go back in, and this is coming from the work of Rudolf Laban, It's just another way of conceiving how we move and how we might be moving. Like if I'm moving straight up and down, very linear, or if I'm moving like in a sort of more planar way where I'm up, down, and side, right? I'm reaching into the corners of the plane, or I'm in the horizontal plane, forward or backward, or I'm in the sagittal plane, forward or backward. Sagittal plane, sagittal dimension. So it's just ways of thinking, like, am I moving in a linear way? Am I spiraling? And these are just extra add-ons to add confusion. But for the people who are like me, who are like, wow, this is like crack, I'm so interested. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. Right? Upregulate, downregulate, lymph, and space. Because I want to talk about space being alive. And we were at the beginning of this, before I'm in a Zoom room with other people, and before I pressed record, I was talking about the matrix and how I conceive of the matrix and radiating out into it. And it's very much like all of this space interrelated. Like that's how I conceive of it. It's something that has structure and form. And if I imagine that this structure and form is even inside of my body, like if we look inside a bone, it's almost like icosahedral structures stacking together. So just how these ideas of like, it's not going to be a perfect icosahedron, but it will be similar-ish. Like if we think of these things of space as being ideas that radiate out in multiple different, you can look at a plant and see the spiral, right? You can see the stuff in nature all the time. So just looking in to create those connections. With that deep thought, I'm going to stop recording and invite everybody back in to unmute. So if you are in TV land, like and subscribe, share this information. I'm trying to throw my matrix out there and expand so that this information is more available for humans all over the world.